Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 1 of Chat. This is a brand new podcast with myself, Brian Kearney, and I'm going to be speaking to artists about their experiences over the past 12 months. In the first episode, I'm chatting with Christopher Kirkpatrick, aka Shugs. Chrissy, how are you doing?
How's it going, mate? I'm alright, good. Normal Monday and onward.
How's things with you at the moment?
I'm all good, mate. Very excited for this year, to say the least. Christmas was decent. Just trying to get as much work done this year, mate. That's the plan. Try and get a bit more. Just start stockpiling, get stuff ready for when things hopefully get back to normal again. If it's this year.
It sort of felt like 2021 couldn't be worse than 2020, but judging by the first 10 or 11 days, it's catching up with it already, isn't it?
I was speaking to my mate the other day, saying the exact same thing. Like, we're in a worse position now than we were last March when all this started. You know what I mean? Like, what kind of hope does that give you?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just a very, very strange time to be alive. Even just before I went on this call with you, my mate just texted me saying his granny was after dying. So there's literally everything you just seem to hear at the moment is just, it's brutal.
Bad.
So
I know, mate.
it's just it's a very difficult time for everybody involved. But look, fingers crossed. Everything that's happened, we've learned from it, and they're learning more about what we can do to get through all this. And I think people have been very strong with how they've dealt with it so far. So fingers crossed it could be more positive moving forward.
Yeah, one thing with me, mate, it's taught me so much, like appreciation, mate. Like, even when we were constantly touring, like even like the smaller gigs and stuff, not that you take them for granted, but you kind of did a wee bit. Like, that life, I was taking it so much for granted. Now, like, it's going to be completely different. I'm just going to look at everything as a bonus from now on, like, when it does get back.
That's the thing. Like, you think back to around just this time last year, you and me were playing in Manchester at Wrong, and then we were travelling up to Glasgow the next night. Just how much the world has changed and how much things have changed. Would you have ever believed what has happened over the past 12 months has happened since then?
That was my last gig. Like, I was speaking to another guy the other day. He was saying that was the last time he was out, that last gig. And then just sitting on the sofa talking to him, that was a year ago. Like, that was a year ago.
And like, even like traveling up on the train and just things being normal and like no masks, all that sort of stuff. It's just it's just so.
Somebody not getting dirty looks.
Yeah, you and Billy Gillies being the two loudest people I've ever heard in my whole life. I think he snuck on without a train ticket as well, didn't he?
Yeah, that Billy all over.
Yeah, I know. Just. I was thinking about that. There was a good way to sort of start this podcast, because that was probably the last time I would have seen you, and just how much our lives have changed and how much everything has changed in general, our lives for everybody. But it was just last year was obviously you started doing those gigs, and then it's not really a funny thing, but last year 2020 was supposed to be the first sort of year where I was doing loads of gigs in China. So what timing, man. What timing, like, Jesus Christ.
It's all your fault.
It is my fault. I caused this crisis, man. So I was supposed to be going to
That's right.
I was supposed to be going to China. I think it was around the 22nd of February. This was before obviously all the sort of stuff had come over here, but that was when I was supposed to go and do a little tour over there. And it was around January, and I was talking to Rob, our manager, and was just like, I don't think this is going to happen, man. There seems to be something going on over there that I think we better pull these shows. So it was probably the same for you. There was like, you're just getting notifications that the gigs were going. All right, this gig is off, this gig is off. And you're just like, all right, it might be just a couple of months, 2 or 3 months, and then everything will be back to normal. And then obviously it just seemed to get a little bit worse and worse and worse. Yeah. It was probably the same for yourself, was it?
I had loads of plans, mate. Like, there was loads of gigs I was really looking forward to. I had a bit of a quiet March in April, like, but there was loads to look forward to. In May and June, obviously Lumo, and then the Shorefest and all up here too. Like, I was getting super excited for that. And then they were just dropping like flies, the gigs, like, rescheduled. I was really, really naive, mate, at the start. I was like, it'll only be 3 months. So 2-3 months. I will be back to normal by summer. And then comes to summer. And then you're saying September, and then winter. And then, see, now it's just, I'm just not even thinking about it now. That's the conclusion I came to. There's no point.
Yeah,
I just let myself up to bring myself down.
But man, I think at the same time, I think we were all a little bit naive. Nobody has ever gone through this sort of time in life with what we're going through. Anybody of any age, really. You know, the last sort of thing where the world was like probably World War II, maybe around like in the 1940s, when there was the last sort of a global sort of incident that's going like this, and like I think we're all naive, but that's just the way it is. As life goes on and you learn more, you're just learning all the time, and you adapt and you evolve and stuff like that. So I think we're all a little bit naive, but I think at the same time, I think we've learned a lot.
Yeah,
And I think I'm a little bit similar to yourself. I've a completely different perspective on a lot of things since I've had time to sort of just stay at home and sort of step back from music and touring and all that sort of stuff. You sort of realize there's a lot that you miss when you're in the job that we have, you know. So
yeah,
I definitely feel like I've definitely a new perspective on life, and as you said, I definitely will have a better appreciation when things do get better for shows and stuff. Because to be perfectly honest with you, there was probably a lot of gigs over the past in maybe like 2019, 2018 where I didn't enjoy every gig that I was playing. That's true. Like I think I probably was nearly a bit burnt out, and I probably think that was because I felt like all I was doing was making music. I wasn't doing anything else, man. I wasn't seeing me mates. I wasn't.
Because
like the one good thing was because Edel works from home now as well, so I would have been going away at the weekends, and then I come back from being away at the weekends, and then I'm sitting here by myself all the time, no conversation, not really having any discussion with anyone. It's just me by myself the whole time making music. It's just the same thing. I got stuck in a rut nearly, you know. So it's been good to have her around, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like more time at home is always a good thing. Like always a good thing, 100%. But like there's balance, mate. It has to be balanced too. Like I'm finding, like over the last year, being at home with Lee, because I obviously work from home too, and she's here all the time. He's get at each other a lot more too, especially under circumstances like this as well. You know what I mean? It's like everybody's stressed and you can't do things, can't go out as much. Like one of the things me and Lee used to have like a passion for doing, mate, was like just going out around restaurants and stuff like that, trying all new places in Belfast. We can't do that now. You know what I mean? That's one thing.
And I think I've gone for one meal in about 6 months. That's things I like. That's something I love doing as well, as going out having something to eat. I can't fucking do anything. I can't even go to the gym. You can't do anything other than, like, we're just being told to stay at home now, which is fair enough. Like, you have to look out for everyone else, all that sort of stuff. But Jesus, man,
there's only so much you can do, mate. There's only so much you can do to occupy your time at home too. Like, do you know what I mean? If you're not making music, like for me, you know, I'm a wee bit of a gamer. I like to play my games and stuff, but it's just not enough, mate. You need to be doing other things. You know what I mean? You need to be going out, occupying your time, socialising. It's important. Like, it's important for your mental state.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like, especially when it comes to being in a creative job like we're in, we need to be sort of inspired and doing shows and getting ideas from that. It's very hard to be inspired at the moment when, like, the gig I'm playing at the moment is in my fucking kitchen. You know what I mean? There's only so much inspiration I can get from, like, a white wall in front of me, you know? I'm standing in front of my phone playing a few tunes.
Your kitchen's a decent venue. It's better in some places.
That's what you just have to adapt, and you just have to sort of. That's what life is, man. It's not the strongest; it's the most flexible that survive. You know, you have to just keep adapting to whatever's happened, and that's all you can do. Really, what's going on, you know.
As you said, there, like, finding inspiration, it is difficult. Like, there's nothing. It's just all seems to be, like, even like on social media and stuff. It's just all throwbacks, mate. Which is right, like, rightly so. Do you know what I mean? There's obviously nothing happening, but. It's just like it's there's nothing to look forward to. I feel now, mate. I've tried so much to, like, try and fire myself up, but I'm just setting myself up, as I said, to bring myself down. Like, it's hard, really, really difficult for me to find inspiration as well, with nothing to look forward to. When that first gig gets booked, I will be elected. The studio will be on fire. Do you know what I mean? I'll be back. I'll be really, really excited when it gets booked and confirmed, when it happens, when I know for certain. But it's just getting to that point, mate. It's taking its toll, like, in the studio for me.
See, that's the thing, especially with the job we're in, man. Like, there's no social distancing at gigs, you know what I mean? So that means that when our things do come back around, like, there's so much uncertainty for when we're going to start working again, or how the gigs are going to take place at the social distancing. And another thing, foreign travel. Like, our two jobs are like clubs that are packed with people, and then traveling all over the world. Like, we couldn't be in probably a worse sort of industry to be in.
It'll be the last to come back, probably the normal, and the whole, like, of everything, because of those 2 points, 100%. Like how do you have a rave, social distance rave, and actually enjoy yourself? Like to me, the tail, mate. Like as a clubber, it's just not worth it for me.
Yeah, I saw some, like, I think there was there a couple of like drive-in sort of gigs up the north over the past?
I'm not sure. I was speaking. The only place I have seen them was Danielle Saunders from LA. I was speaking to her the other day. They've been doing them loads over in LA. Like she says, they're fun, like good crack, but just not for me. Like the clubbing experience for me, going out and going like enjoying it. Know what I mean? The music, being amongst people. I love the madness of it. That's just me. Like having to stand.
You're at that age, and you're clubbing and you're going to the events. The best part about it is just going out and talking shit to some randomer that you've never met in your whole life. You know,
something I'm very good at.
you can't even shake hands with someone now, for fuck's sake. Yeah, but just going back to like the start of last year and obviously the lockdown start, but even before that, man, it was just weird. It was just a weird year. Like I knew I was going to get off to a start. I knew the year was going to get off to a weird start when I reversed my car into my house.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my God, how'd you do
that? I was clearing stuff out of the house and there was a skip in the driveway and I just wasn't paying attention and I was just reversing in. Now I only tapped the bumper off the sort of the window sill of the bottom window, but I still reversed my car into my house. So I was there, right? This is going to be a good year, right? And then in a more serious thing, the last show that I went to was Passion in March, and I was just getting a rest in the hotel before I was going to do the show, and I was literally going down to get collected to go to the gig, and I get a text on my phone saying that there's been an incident at the club where someone has collapsed and the police have shut down the venue, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on this year, man? It's just weird. Yeah.
Just one of them years, mate. It just seems like everything that went wrong did go wrong from the start.
Yeah,
just wasn't. I just hope, I'm praying and hoping that just this year, just even if it's not amazing, just better than last year, mate. I don't think I could do another year like last year. No way, not two in a row. Like
See, I've wanted to sort of do a podcast like this for years, where it's sort of like the reason I'm calling it chat is because I'm fed up of posting stuff online now where I have to try and make myself out that I'm buzzing with life, and I'm not buzzing with life. None of us are buzzing with life, and I don't want to put this fake Instagram smiley bullshit up online because I don't have anything to post about. Like I think I've done one post on Instagram since the new year because I don't have anything to post about. You know,
difficult, mate. It's really, really difficult. It's for me. The way that I'm looking at like social media and stuff is I'm just trying to, from like summer last year, just stay relevant, mate. Just stay relevant. Just keep my socials updated so that I'm still there in people's minds. Put up clips, like video stuff, pictures. But even I'm bored of it too, mate. And it's getting hard. I just want to just share videos from last year all the time and talk about that, or in 2019, 2 years ago. Don't want to just share shit from back in and, as you say, pretend that I'm in that same state of mind back end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's all I've really had to post about last year was like the sets I was doing for my kitchen, and obviously I'm glad people enjoyed them, but you know, there's only so many you can do. Like you need to take a break from it and then come back with a little bit of inspiration to do another one. And then obviously I did the vinyl mix for Christmas, and I bought a set of turntables. They're the first set of turntables I've ever bought, so I've actually bought them because
they're not ready just then.
Yeah, God knows, man, how long I'm going to be on lockdown or at home doing these gigs. So like I might as well improve my skills or fucking just do a few different things to keep people entertained and get them through it, you know.
You can do improving your skills, definitely.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's why I got you on here, to get some lessons off you.
It'll cost you. But mate, it's a good idea. Like it's like with the vinyl and stuff like that, and doing them from your kitchen. But the thing is with me too, mate, with them streams, everybody's doing them now. Like when we started doing them at the start, the first one I done, like even the Facebook algorithm and all too, mate. You know the score of it. Like it's just the numbers are ridiculous now. See, when I'm doing mine, mate, the first time I done one, I just done it in the kitchen, just a live stream. It was like 2,000 people that had tuned in. I was like, fucking hell, this is going to be brilliant. Really, really good. I could do some of this, maybe do once a week. See, every single week when I was doing them, you could just see the number going down. And I got to the point now, even with it, mate, it was like 200 or 300 people and that's it. That's all you're getting unless you pay. That's money I don't have. Do you know what I
I
mean?
think I did a repost of one of my sets for New Year's Eve, and I started at 11 p.m. I think there was 6 people watching it at one stage. So people are definitely sick of me, man. Maybe it's better that I don't go on social media.
It's a hard one, mate. Like it's with the streams and stuff, because it's just everybody's doing them. The novelties completely wore off. That's why we started doing them set the scenes as well. Something a bit different, you know what I mean? And it was getting us out for the day too. The lads, it was 4 of us, 5 of us getting out and doing something. But you're putting all that work in.
There's not many set the scenes you can do when you're only go 2 kilometers from your house, is there?
Exactly, mate. Exactly. We've run out of places. Like there's nowhere really. We were trying to get the Harlan Wolf down in, obviously the Cranes, but no chance, mate. Even our uncle, his uncle works down there as like a foreman, and just no chance. Like safety, always the health and safety, you just can't do it. I would have been the crown jewel for them, like, but no way, can't do it. Against you big time.
Yeah. So obviously the lockdown continued and stuff. Like I want to sort of move away from the music stuff and sort of talk about how you've actually dealt with everything. Obviously, you're a good bit younger than me. I think I'm 38 in 3 weeks. I'm nearly an alpha. Like, what are you? You're 28, is it? 30?
30 this year.
You're still a lot younger than me. So I wanted to hear what your experience has been over the past. Obviously, you have a young child as well. So that brings the worries and the financial worries and all that has to come. What have you done to sort of cope with it and to get through what we've been going through?
It's, for me, mate, just spending as much time as possible, just with the family too at the start of last year. Like, just trying not to worry, mate. Just trying not to worry. Like, as long as there was enough money financially, like, and getting help with the government and stuff, as long as there was enough money to like make sure everything was covered, I was just trying not to stress. That was my biggest worry. Like, see, financially, mate, making sure like putting clothes and meals back, food in their belly and stuff, making sure Lee's okay. That was what really, like, I've never really been suffered from anxiety or anything like that, mate. But last year it was bad, like, because of that, worrying the family. Like, last year I was planning to be the best year of my life. That's what I was planning for my family, for myself, for my career, just everything, mate. That's what I wanted, and then the shit hit the fan, and it really put me under. Like, it really, really, really. I'm not gonna say I was depressed, but it really, really got me down, and I was coming up and down, mate. It was like I'm a positive person. I try and be as positive as possible all the time. So I was bringing myself up. But it just felt like every time I was bringing myself up, I was getting hit harder back down again. It was tough times.
That's completely understandable, man, considering what's going on. Like, there's so much uncertainty, and at the end of the day, anxiety is all based around uncertainty and not knowing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where it all comes. Like I've spoken about before, I'm someone who has experienced anxiety, even chronic anxiety, over the years for a good 10 years now, and it's like I found last year I was probably nearly less anxious than I had been in previous years. Maybe it was because I was I'd step back from what I was doing and sort of doing other things, and sort of it wasn't about being a DJ and all that stuff anymore. I was just being a normal human being at home, you know.
Yeah, I see. I was kind of like the opposite, because I got comfortable where I was. That's why I think I was worrying so much. I was comfortable where I was, like 2018. Or 2019, very comfortable. Like, I was happy in life, everything was nice, and then just because for that to change for me, and then have the uncertainty with the career, and then with the family too, it was just too much at once.
Yeah,
too much. I think that's the thing to me being so naive too. I didn't really want to accept or take it on board. Could be potentially a year. I just kept saying, "Oh, it'll be a few months," trying to convince myself.
Yeah, that's just a coping mechanism that you're trying to bring onto yourself so that you can deal with exactly what's going on. But the one main thing that I learned from last year, it is acceptance. It means that you have to, the way things are the way things are, and you just have to sort of accept that. But you also need to accept the fact that they can quite quickly change. So they can change for the good, or they can change for the better. But I think people are a lot more resilient, and they've adapted really well. So you just have to. Life it's a bit shit at the moment, man. You just have to accept it, and you just have to. I don't want to sound like the lyrics to a trance tune or something here, but you just have to literally take it one day at a time and just sort of to stay as positive and sort of try and block out the negativity and just
it's hard though, mate. It's hard. Like one thing for me is, as I said, I like to focus on the positives. Like, just do things that make you happy, mate. Do things that make you happy and do them often, as often as you can. Do you know what I mean? Take your mind off like thinking, overthink. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to overthink things. Do things that make you happy. Spend time with your family. Play your games. Make music. Whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? Just try and do things right now as much as you can. That's going to keep you in a positive mindset.
That's the thing. Like, I think like being stuck at home and not being able to go anywhere and sort of limited to stay at home, it sort of simplified my life a good bit. Like, I went over, like, this is the thing, like, I went over to play in LA at the beginning of January, and I'm getting on the plane beside your man who played Elton John in that Rocket Man film, right? So there's
what's his name?
Taron Egerton or something like that.
Yeah.
And I
can't remember. I know who you're talking about though.
I'm just this is just fucked up, you know what I mean? And then I walk the flight gets into LA and getting off the plane, and like in front of me is Channing Tatum getting off the plane.
What?
Yeah. And then I look around, and behind me there is your man from Game of Thrones. You know your man, Sam Tarly.
You weren't dreaming.
Like, what? This is fucked up. Like, you know what I mean?
That sounds like a dream. Fuck's sake.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But it's really surreal. This is what I mean. This is what our job and traveling around the world and experiences. It can be quite surreal at times, and it's hard to. I consider myself quite a normal person. You know what I mean? I have a very simple life, and do you know what I mean? And then for all this stuff, they're coming home, and then I'm coming back, and then I was sort of just like at home on my own, working on music. Whereas now, I just I get up every morning, I bring the dog for a walk, and my life is really simple. Like, I come in, I might do some work on this, or I might do something on that, but it's sort of simplified things. And when there's less things to sort of think about or worry about, it sort of makes things a lot easier. So that's one of the things that I've sort of really enjoyed from the past year. Obviously, it's been really difficult, and don't get me wrong, there's been times when I felt like this thing is never going to end, and it's made me really angry because it's hard to take. But at the same time, I haven't found every single aspect of the past year terrible, you know? And I'm sure there are times where you felt like that as well.
Well, to be honest, mate, not really. It's been all negative for me. Like, I feel like I had to force it, mate. Like to really force myself to be positive about the situation. Like, even last year, mate, I was drinking most weekends and all too, like, and I know that's not good for me, like, but mate, the way that I was feeling was all week, I was like sitting all week doing my work and stuff, and then I felt like I needed to have some sort of release, mate, on weekends. And I know that that's not the right thing to do, positively from a mindset, but it was helping me cope, mate. It was helping me cope with how I was feeling, and it was giving me something to look forward to. That's the God's honest truth. This year, I'm off the drink completely. I'm going to do a dry January. I'm going to try and not do that as much as last year, because it wasn't helping. It was giving me a fix. Mate, it was giving me a quick fix. I was feeling good, having a drink, like in the house, enjoying myself, and then back to Monday, back again. You know what I mean? And it was having nothing to look forward to. That's what was really killing me, and just having a drink and a bit of socialising at the weekends. Yeah, that was what was getting me by, mate. That was what was getting me by. Now, I've had obviously positive points. Christmas and stuff like that was great last year, and we had a good summer weather and stuff like that. Like, it was positive there. Like, I'm not being completely fully negative, but I was definitely more down than I was up. 100%, defo. And I was kind of like forcing it, just trying to make myself as positive as possible. But it was just the more I was like coming up, I just felt like I was bringing myself back down.
What was there anything you did to sort of help yourself get through feeling like that, or was it just really the drink, or were you talking to people, or is there anything that you do?
No, it was just like me and Lee were talking about it, like, and just like we just had to bear with it, and there was like 3 projects doing the set the scenes and stuff like that. There, having a mix like in the studio. One thing I never do, I'm a decks and all here, like, is I never mix at home. Never. Started having a few mixes at home again. That was getting me by and give me a bit of purpose too. Download more promos to actually have a mix. Do you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Because I was just sitting in limbo for ages, mate. Doing nothing. Coming in the studio, trying to sit down and work. And I was just like, what is the point here? Like, no inspiration, no spark. And that wasn't getting any ideas from nothing. Forced. The music was forced. And then that was pissing me off and that making me even more annoyed, because I feel like I have to do it, do you know what I mean? And then I just got to that point where it's pointless. Like, me and you had this conversation, you were saying it's pointless, like, releasing the music.
That was the reason why I stopped doing releases on the label, because what is the point of making this music if you can't play it, and for it to get a sort of a connection with the crowd that you're playing to all over the world? I just think it's a complete waste of time. So that's the main reason why last year I mainly just did bootlegs of old tracks, because I'm probably in the same mindset of a lot of other people, where I'm currently in this situation here. I'm looking at the past with rose-tinted glasses, wishing that it was like that. So I'm sort of rehashing. I'm remixing tracks that I've always wanted to remix, and sort of bringing that into a modern, sort of try and make now better than
and it's fun, mate. It's fun too. It's fun making bootlegs and doing remixes like that. Like, it's definitely more fun. There's a lot less like pressure, I feel, when I'm just doing stuff like that, messing about with tunes rather than making originals. Like, I struggle sometimes making original music. Like, I know that's my priority, and I do release a majority of my music as originals, but when I sit down and do like a wee bootleg or like a collab with somebody, it's always fun. I mean, you get that wee buzz out of it too. Like, it's always more enjoyable, definitely, for me when I'm doing that.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are just feeling like that, where it's just when it's the way things are now, you're looking back, sort of wishing that things were as good as they were back then. But the thing is, they weren't as good back then. There's no such thing as the past or the future. The only thing is, there only is. I'm not trying to sound like a spiritual master here, but there only ever is now. Like, the past it's just memories. The future is just projections. There's only now, you know.
It's comparing to it though. That's why I think a lot of people, like, now, because we don't have it, it makes it look a lot more. Makes it look a lot better, the past, than it actually was too. You know what I mean? It's because you're starved of it, and you're like, that was amazing, so much more better. And that's also playing into the mindset thing too. Like, you have to just, as you say, just focus on yourself now. Try and stay as positive as possible. The future will work itself out, 100%. You just need to stay in there, don't you? Like,
and that's the thing you're talking about, comparison. That's the thing that's affecting, I feel, young people a lot now at the moment, especially since the introduction of like Instagram and I fucking feel so sorry for kids growing up now, man, teenagers or people in their early 20s, because all they've ever really known is sort of Instagram and Facebook and all that sort of stuff. Like that, like I sort of grew up in a period just before that, you know, so there was none of that sort of stuff. You went out and enjoyed yourself, and you weren't worrying about what people were posting, or like you weren't looking at someone else's life going, oh look, they've the perfect life, of which it was like them, and then they're going to start feeling like shit because their lives aren't perfect. But it's all bollocks.
There is no, like, even the person that's posting this perfect life, they have their problems, they have their issues. You know what I mean? It's just perception. It's just all perception. Like, it all looks like a perfect life. That's all it is. Like, you need to understand that. Any young people watching or listening, like, you need to understand that it's just all an act. It's perceived as perfection. It's not perfection. Everybody has their issues. Everybody has their troubles. It's just life. Life is like don't compare your life to someone else's life through a picture on Instagram or a conversation on Facebook. Like, it's just not the way the world works. And like, I know it's tough for some people to hear that, but it's the truth.
Yeah, as he said, like, the name of this podcast is chat, which is like another word for bullshit or spoof or waffle. Yeah. It's like I'm trying to cut through all that stuff and speak to people about stuff. I'm not doing this podcast like this to sell myself as, oh, I made this and made that. Same for yourself. I just want to sort of talk to people to sort of see how they've dealt with what they're doing, what their headspace is, and how they're coping and stuff, you know. So
fair play. It's a good idea, like, really good idea. A lot of people, I'm sure, touch in this. Like,
I hope so, yeah. Because I spoke to some of my friends about it, and they said I should do it. They said, like, they've seen sort of interviews where I've spoke about this before, and I'm all right to listen to. So hopefully people do get something from it. I wanted to do something that's not a mix or just like a photo of me standing with a smile on my face that I feel like I need to put up on Instagram, because like I don't do anything much from day to day. Like, what will I start putting photos up of me doing the hoovering or picking up the dogs after going to the toilet? Will I pick that up and put a photo up of that? Like, I don't have anything to post about, so I'd rather speak about some of the stuff that's going on and how you're feeling, how I'm feeling, the things that,
Authentic.
yeah.
It's like you said it yourself when we're talking about it. Just real stuff.
I'm no expert on anything, but I have a lot of experience in what I've gone through and what I've done, and I've read a lot of books on self-improvement, on meditation and mindfulness, on just how the mind works and stuff like that. So I've picked up a lot of stuff, and I try to apply it to my life as best I can.
You'll have to send me over a few things, mate, to check out. Definitely.
I don't think there's no hope for you. There's no point in me. I'm only joking, man. If there's ever anything I can send over, there's loads of stuff. There's loads of things that but I know from speaking to you from before that you're sort of you're very sort of hyperactive, obsessive sort of. You've one of these personalities that it's just like, you're like one of these dolls that has a string that comes out the back, but the string never goes in; it just stays out.
Permanently out.
Yeah, permanently out. Yeah, that's what you are. Yeah.
Thanks for the compliment, mate.
So is mindfulness or meditation or any of that. So is it anything you've ever looked into doing or anything? Or?
I've tried. You actually gave me the recommendation before for that Headspace, and I tried it, but difficult, mate. For me, it's very, very difficult. Now, there's been a few times it actually has helped, but as you say there, mate, it's hard for me just to mellow out. It's very, very difficult for me to completely mellow out and take it on. It's hard. It's tough. I need to try and find.
You're trying too hard. You're trying too hard. Maybe. That's the problem is. Yeah. But there's plenty of books I can recommend you to read or anything like that can help. To be honest, I don't really do much of it anymore.
So give a few recommendations here, obviously, for people listening.
Well, there's a good Headspace is obviously a really good one for people looking to get into. There's another one called Insight Timer, which is another meditation app, which is what I found really good. I did a lot of reading up on. I've sort of read a good few books on mindfulness. Basically, what it is just like you experience the thoughts that go through your head. You're not your thoughts. You're the person that experiences them. So you have to drop the attachment to what goes on in your head. So they come and go without anything got to do with you. So it's just,
that's one of the things, and one of the ones in the Headspace. What the girl was saying, I remember. It's like passing traffic, and it's like watching the traffic go by. You just have to accept that it's going to happen. You have to accept it. Yeah. That's it. And how does it help you? How does meditation help you? Has it helped you a lot?
It has helped me a lot in the past, but it at the same time, it's sort of I go too deep in on it.
Yeah.
I went too deep too soon, because I started out on one called Transcendental Meditation, and this is like a quite advanced sort of. I probably should have started off slow and
build it up.
This was it's intense. It's hard to describe it, but there were certain times I did it where I felt like I wasn't even on this planet. It's
what?
Yeah, it's mad. It's mad for people who have experienced meditation, have done it. They'll sort of know what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
but I just
out of body stuff.
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
That's crazy, mate. That's crazy. Nuts.
But I'm probably similar enough to yourself, where I just have a brain that never stops.
Yeah,
just never ever stops. I get intrusive thoughts where something will come into my head and I go, oh fucking hell, why am I thinking about that? And then because I'm thinking that, it just makes it worse, and the cycle it's a fucking hamster wheel that never stops.
You're rolling down the staircase, and then you think of other stuff. Worst case scenario, you focus on that, and then you think of other things to make the situation worse. And then it turns out that not even 0.5% of the possibility of it was going to happen. That's me all over too, mate. Focus on the worst thing and convince yourself it's going to happen. That's my life.
Man, I'll tell you a couple of good ones I had. I developed a fear of nearly going to the supermarket before, because I remember walking around the supermarket once and this thing came into my head, and it goes, what would happen if I just walked up and punched everyone in the face that I swear, and I couldn't get it out of my head, and I was just walking around nearly with my hands in my pockets. Walking around with my hands in my pockets in the supermarket, hoping that I wouldn't punch someone in the face. And I wouldn't even mind. I've never been in a fight in my life. I've never even thrown a punch in my life. I don't even know where this one came from. But this is what the mind can. This is what the mind can do to you. Like, you know, this is what sometimes I have to deal with. You know, there was another one where I developed a fear of spoons.
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 I didn't develop a fear of spoons, man.
This was years ago, but I was away playing a gig, and I was just sitting in the. I was sitting in my the hotel room, and I just saw the teaspoon sitting in the corner. I was there, like the teaspoon on the edge of it, and then I had my hand. I was rubbing my eye or something. I go, imagine if I just got that spoon and I put it up there under my eye and like flick. And then I was just, oh no, this is what was going on in my head, and I'm there. Oh no, I have to try and get rid of that tar from my head. How do I do it? But that just makes it worse and worse and worse.
There's one that I get very similar to that on tour. The balconies, mate. What if I was to jump off it?
That's a good one. I used to get that.
You look over and you're like, right, like if I was just to put my leg up here and just jump, and then I come in, I shut the door, lock it, and pull a curtain over me, so just to kind of get away from. So that's exactly.
I have a fear of heights as well, so that's one I can completely understand. Yeah, there was another one I had. There's one. You don't drive, do you?
No.
Yeah, you're just driving along in your car and you go, geez, imagine if I just turned the wheel now and crashed into a wall. that's a regular one.
Put somebody up a bonnet.
It's the best thing to do is just laugh at these things, man, because they're just thoughts. It's just you just have to there's little obsessive compulsive thoughts that can come into your head, and if you just laugh at them and let them go, and they're gone. And the best thing to do is just laugh at them, because you can make all of this stuff way too serious, like anxiety. Obviously, it is serious. I know it is, but the best thing to do, man, is just fucking laugh at yourself, because at the end of the day, we're all gonna die someday. Mm-hmm. So the best thing to do is just enjoy your time while you're here. And I think that's the perspective I have from last year as well, where just make the most of the time you have here. Don't take yourself too seriously. Don't take everything too seriously. Just have a laugh as much as you can. Because I think
problems, mate, like most things, are you going to be worried about a problem a couple of weeks down the line? That's one thing that I've said to myself, like, is this really going to be annoying me that much a couple of weeks, a couple of months down the line? And see if the answer is no, then by default, it's just get out of my head. Like, that's one way it's easy for me to cope. Like, it's easy to focus in on negativity. It's easy to get upset about things. But, like, if you look at it in perspective, like, and try and think about, is it really going to be that much of a problem? It probably isn't, like, most times. Obviously, there's serious issues. But, like, I'm talking about the smaller things that could maybe trigger anxiety for some people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you have to keep an eye on your triggers. You sort of keep an eye that you're not overreacting. And talking is the best thing, man. Like, that's... I don't know whether it's like, obviously, people my age, they probably don't talk as much as the younger generation do now. But, like, to talking about it, and sort of the more the conversation develops, the less the stigma drops. So it's good to talk about this, because, like, have you seen The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
No.
It's basically it's a program. It's a documentary that shows the impact that social media has had on the world over the past 10 years, and it's frightening. Yeah. Like, the people who own...
Is it just like one episode, like one documentary? Or
yeah, it's about 90 minutes long. Like, after I watched it, I don't have... I didn't have Facebook or Twitter on my phone, because I don't deal with... When I haven't been on... I post stuff on Twitter, but I haven't read my Twitter mentions in, I think it's 3 years. I haven't checked them. Yeah. I don't read. So if anyone's listening in and they message me on Twitter and I don't reply, it's not me being rude. I just don't check them, because I took the decision a few years ago for my own mental health to sort of not read this. I was just I post what I post, and if people like it, they like it, and if they don't, they don't. My own view of myself was becoming too warped by what people thought of me, so I needed to sort of cut that out. So apologies to anyone who does message me on Twitter. I don't read them. But after watching that Social Dilemma, I deleted Instagram off my phone, because that was the only one I had, and I didn't go on anything for, I think it was 7 weeks. I didn't go on anything. I just took a break from everything, and it really, really helped my headspace. It helped everything, because you could be on social media. I don't know whether it's the same for yourself, but like you could see someone posting that you actually like and you're friends with, and you're like, "What's that fucking idiot talking about?" Like,
Yeah,
it's
100%.
it's
It happened to me. I deleted mine last year, my Facebook. Now, I was on Facebook every day for years. Like, I was addicted, fully addicted to my Facebook, mate. Like, scrolling through my newsfeed. Like, it was a trigger. I was taking my phone out and doing it, putting my code in, and there's like a wee bit my phone would slide from the side and hit the app. And I was doing that, even like got on the phone to make a phone call, and I was doing that.
Yeah,
Like,
but I know I've seen you. I know I've seen you doing it, but this is the way. This is how they design it. Do you know the way that you pull down for it to refresh?
Yeah.
Do you know the way if you're in a casino or a thing when you're pulling the thing down?
Yeah.
That's why they do that.
Seriously?
Yeah.
So that's why it's like almost like a rewarding feeling. Ken?
So like, if I'd advise you to go and watch it, man. It's called The Social Dilemma. It's really, really good. But like, staying on the subject of what we're talking, we're obviously having a laugh about the OCD and all that sort of stuff. But I don't think it'll happen for you. But has there ever been a time on stage where you've sort of found it all a bit overwhelming and felt like?
Yeah, there was a time in Australia. I was playing in Australia. One of the hologram events. And I don't know what it was, mate. It just triggered me when I was on stage. Like, I felt okay coming up to it. And when I went on and started playing, just something hit me. And I started like really, really worrying. And like, oh, is my music here going to work? Is this like, I've never really get that before. I used to just do my thing. I'm usually confident. And I just like had all these thoughts. Oh my God, is this going to work? Am I doing this right? Is this the right tune? Is that the right tune? And it really impacted my performance, mate. I really felt like I was overthinking. I was playing it safe. It really did impact me. Like, and from that, it hasn't happened again. Like, but that one time, I can always remember that one time. And I don't know why. It just hit me, mate. And it was uncomfortable. And I've never been uncomfortable on stage in my life. That was uncomfortable.
Do you ever have the recurring dream where you're about to play your set, but you can't find your tunes or you have no headphones?
The one that I've had many times is the USB coming out. I've had that one loads and loads and people booing you and stuff.
That's never happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you in real life. That's not a dream, man.
Unfortunately, it's happened once or twice, but not a big gigs, thankfully.
No, but coming back to that, like I've had some. It's coming back to the anxiety. There's a thing in an experience within anxiety. It's called depersonalization, right? And derealization. It's when you become sort of your anxiety level sort of gets so high that you don't feel like you're you. It's like everything around you feels really, really surreal. That it's not real.
That's what you're describing. That felt like.
That's probably exactly what happened to you. Yeah, it's like the fight or flight response within your body is triggered, and like this has happened to me. This has happened to me loads of times. Like it's happened to me like when I've been playing at ASA, where like I'm still playing and performing as if everything's fine, but within my own head, I'm just like, this is fucked up. Like this, everything just feels really, really strange. So
that's understandable. Like, a gig at that magnitude, that's understandable for something like that to happen. Like,
but it's really, it can be. The first few times it's happened, it can throw you. It can really throw you off. But you seem to always get through it. But I remember there was one time we played in London. It was probably, let me think, it was 7 or 8 years ago at this stage, and I think it was the first time I played. It was a 4-hour set, and the whole night was sort of made around my name. And I think the whole sort of it was the first time that had ever been done, and the whole pressure and everything being built around me, I think it sort of got to me a little bit while I was playing my set. And I took a sip of my drink, and I convinced myself that my drink was after being spiked.
Seriously?
Yeah.
That's how your mind was?
Yeah.
That's how out of yourself you were? You thought, that's crazy. Like, it just shows you, mate, like what the power of what you can.
I was fucking terrified, man. I couldn't wait to not be. Yeah.
That's brutal. Like, that's the way I felt. The same exact feeling, mate. In that time in Australia, I wanted to set the end, and then when I was finished, it was like washed over me. I felt fine again.
It like,
and then anytime, it makes me anxious even thinking about it, mate. That feeling, it does. Like, it makes me. I would never want to experience it again. How do you prevent it? Like, you can't.
You can't.
You can't. You just have to
You have to just sort of,
do it. Write it out.
just focus on your breathing and sort of calm down and go, look, it's happening again. Let it play out and you'll be grand. But it can be very, it's
uncomfortable.
Yeah, it is uncomfortable, yeah. Because, but obviously, when stuff, back then, stuff like that was happening, I'd just take a drink and I'd just drink more and more and more and more to sort of push it back down, you know. But
numb it out.
Yeah, numb the pain, yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, coming back to that, that's happened loads of times, and it can be fairly, it's scary when you're up on that stage. Like, it appears to everyone else that you're grand, but you're not. You know what I mean?
It's the thing as well, mate. Everybody's like looking at you too. Like, it's just that whole, it's all eyes are up there. Like, and if you're going through a situation and a position like that, that's obviously going to make it worse.
The last time it happened was actually in Argentina last year when you were there. He was in the. I think it was the fact that I was jet lagged. I still had sort of a bit of a sleeping tablet in my system, and the combination of Johnny Walker, the three of them sort of combined together. And then I'm looking out at about 3,500 people, and it was just like, all right, I need to stay focused here, otherwise I'm gonna crack up, you know.
Yeah.
But it thankfully it doesn't. It rarely happens these days. But obviously I haven't really had any. I can't really get too scared in my kitchen. You know what I mean?
I was just gonna say. If you had it in the kitchen, you'd be having problems.
Yeah. But,
it's difficult to deal with, as you say, on stage. But the gigs with them at magnitude, mate, it's I don't want to say it's kind of be expected, but it kind of is in a way. Like, you know what I mean? All those people. I don't know about you. I get comfortable on stage, like when I'm in my groove. It doesn't really affect me. But there's times, like you say, where you would take a drink and you would maybe feel it a wee bit. Or I'm very, very judgmental as well myself. Like, if I make a wee mistake, mate, I'll think about that in my head. Oh, you noticed that, or
that's the way. That's the way a lot of creative people are like that, man. We're all our biggest critic.
Yeah, very self-critical, man.
Very self-critical. I can be very self-critical at times, and I can be very self-conscious at times. Even on stage, I sometimes feel very self-conscious because I don't really drink anymore. I drink very rarely, or if I do drink, I don't drink a lot. So my mind is sort of, I wouldn't say it's clear, but it's not being sort of, there's no alcohol in my system to sort of loosen me up, you know what I mean? So I'm sort of...
I always drink when I'm playing, like, you know that yourself. I played Gatecrasher last year, and I had the graveyard shift, like, it was late. And I actually went back when I got over. I was with John and Neil, and when I got over, I actually went to bed. Went to bed before my set, and got up, mate, and went fresh, just with a bottle of water, and it was weird, mate.
It is weird, isn't it?
It was weird, mate. It was weird. It was weird, me not having a drink, like, at a gig. It just felt strange. Felt weird to me. Not a bad thing, like, it wasn't like a dependency or anything like that, or I needed to perform. It just felt different, really, really different. That time of the morning, everybody else is going completely nuts, you know what I mean? And I'm sipping on a bottle of water. I was looking around. This is strange. Just like weird for me. Very different.
Yeah.
I enjoy it when I'm playing. Like, it helps take the edge off me. Really, really helps take the edge off sometimes.
Yeah, I think, as I was saying, I felt a little bit burnt out and sort of, I wouldn't say overworked, but I was a bit nearly fed up last year at certain stages, you know. So that's why I cut back on drinking, because I was traveling, jet lagged, coming home, going again, jet lag. You're younger than me, man. I've done all that shit. Like, I've done the drinking, I've done the staying up, I've done all the partying, I've done all that. I've passed all that shit now, man. Like, I give a shit about my body now. Like, I care about what I'm putting into it, my exercise, my training, my food, vitamins, moisturising my skin, looking after myself. I got, like, your body does so much for you. You need to have an appreciation of what it actually does for you. You know? You can't just keep running it into the ground. And at the end of the day, your body's it's a machine. What you feed it with is how it's going to perform. Yeah, so you need to... I've really become sort of health conscious and all that sort of stuff over the past few years, because I just got sick of fucking drinking, man, because there was times that I've done gigs before and I was ashamed of how I played and how I was. And you've seen me when I'm like that. I don't like being like that, you know. I think I got very abusive at you one night. I didn't mean any harm by it. Now, hopefully, I made it up to you when I was dancing with you at the wedding last year.
Well, the family that I have, believe me, I'm used to getting dogs abuse. It's just a part of life. But yeah, it's
you deserve it.
Not as much as you do.
I hope I made it up to you when I was dancing around with you at my wedding last year, or 2 years ago.
What a night that was! What a day!
That was hilarious, wasn't it?
Some good crack out there. Leave it at that.
So,
but
you're engaged, aren't you?
Yeah.
What's your plan? What's your plan?
Well, we had plans to start planning this year. Obviously, I proposed Christmas 2018. No, 19. And then last year we were going to kind of have a wee look around and start planning this year, but not happening, mate. Not happening now. Not until life gets back to normal. No chance.
Sure.
There's no point.
I think at the moment the limit to the amount of people that can be at a wedding down here is 6 people.
Yeah, that's wild, isn't it?
Why would you bother, like?
Pointless, mate. Pointless. Like, it's not even. It's obviously something. Like, we didn't even have our engagement party. We had our engagement party to look forward to last year. Like, that was a big thing we were really excited for, and that took away off us in May. Like, God, mate. Still haven't had our engagement party.
Well, you'd like to think that with the rollout of all the vaccines and all that sort of stuff, that will protect the vulnerable and the elderly, that moving forward into the summer months when the seasonal effect of the virus sort of lowers as well, that we can gain some sort of normality. So fingers crossed you can have something down.
I hope so, man. I really, really hope so. People are getting fed up. People are getting really fed up, and it's excuse me, it's getting worse for people, mate, in here and too. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there needs to be some sort of change. Can't do another year like last year. Like, you just can't. I don't think it's gonna be so bad for everybody and everything if we don't get this shit sorted soon. Like, it has to be sorted soon.
That's what I was thinking when I was starting to do this podcast. Like, at least as we were coming towards the end of the podcast, that we could speak with a little bit of positivity about what the future is going to hold and how things have changed with the introduction of the vaccines and stuff. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, man, it feels like it's worse now than it's ever been. Not that, like, to be honest with you, man, I can't watch the news or don't watch any of it.
No, I don't either. I refuse to now. I refuse. It's just pumped, all getting pumped shite into your head. You know what I mean? It's not
at the end of the day, the news, the media, they all want your attention. So the way they're going to keep your attention is by scaring the shit out of you because you want to know what's going on. So that's what the media are doing. That's what the news channels are doing. That's they're loving this. They're loving the fear going, you know. Like, obviously there's a lot of terrible things happening at the moment, but sometimes you need to step away from that and just sort of live, simplify your life.
Focus on the positives. Be happy. Do small things, mate. Do the small things.
The little things.
Keep yourself as positive and happy as possible. Yeah.
Right, so
difficult at times, like it is, but
I think we've had
it's difficult at times to do that, but it's focus. People just need to focus as much as possible, mate, on spend time with your family. That's the best bit of advice I can give anybody. Like, spend more time with your family, do you know what I mean? And just try and be as positive as possible. That's what's helped me a lot. Like, spending time with me, like seeing Mila grow up at home, like, it's amazing. That's the best thing. One thing that you should have said that earlier. It's the most positive thing. Being at home and haven't missed anything. Nothing. Do you know what I mean? Here all the time, seeing her grow up big and bold like her mum, but just getting, like, you don't miss a thing. And that's one really positive thing for me. Like, that's helped me a lot.
That's a really positive thing from this, is the fact that you've been at home to experience all of these things, because if you weren't, you never would have had those experiences. So that comes in with what I was saying, that, like, not everything, I don't think everything has been, personally for me, I haven't found everything terrible. Obviously a lot of it has been unsettling, and the fact that I'm on government support for nearly 10 months now, it's not, I've never been on it before, so that's something I found difficult, because I was ringing up trying to get it sorted out, and, like, I felt worthless, man. worthless not being able to earn my own money. I like paying my tax. I've always been very self-sufficient. So for me to be on government support, I felt worthless at times.
That's the way I feel too, mate. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's the thought of not being able to support your family. As a father, mate, a father, it's not a nice feeling, like having that going through your head. What if I can't support my family? Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's just that, like, obviously Lee, I'm stubborn that way, like, Lee would help, but it's still my job. That's the way my father always looked after me. I'm sure yours was the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the job as a father to supply and support your family. And that was one thing was tough for me at the start. Like, can I do this year? And that was giving me bad thoughts. Like, oh, I need to consider going back to work and stuff like that too. Like, do you know what I mean? Which I would have done. Which I would have done if I needed to. But it was just, it was weird to having that thought that would have been a possibility after the year that I had before. Crazy, mate. How quick it switched.
Yeah, but you'd like to think that obviously it could be a little bit shit for a while, but it will come back around, you know?
Yeah, 100%, man. No doubt in my mind that things will get back to normal, but it's just when. That's the issue, isn't it? When. The big word.
That's the thing that we unfortunately can't control. We sort of just have to take each day as it comes and try to stay as positive as you can and limit the amount of negativity going on in your life on a day-to-day basis. That's about it.
100%. Couldn't agree more.
I think we leave it there, man. So thanks very much for being part of the first episode of this. It's been great chatting to you, and hopefully she'll see you at a gig sooner rather than later.
Hopefully not.
Good man, Shugs. Nice one, man.
Mate, pleasure. See you later. Take it easy.
Bye.